Hello! So here we have a new design using the Liz Guild Crimbo stack, and this one has yet to be named, but I will put it in the description once it has been named. So trying a little something different here, a little side by side. So hopefully it will give you an idea of exactly how I work, like because people ask about the thickness and stuff like that too. So hopefully this will help you to get an idea of how I work from various angles. So this is something I'm still kind of learning to do on my new fancy editing software. So do bear with me. I just about got it synced up, but it might get a little out of sync here and there. So I've started by removing my client's last set. I filed down to a really thin layer and then just kind of filed and buffed any excess off, and I've then applied the forms, and then I'm coming in creating that tip, and then I'm coming in with CJP and more from the cuticle area down, and then I'm picking up a bead of crystal glass, dabbing it into this beautiful reddy pinky goldy glitter, and then placing it on the nail, and then just kind of nudging it around with the tip of my brush. A little note, it was freezing in my salon this morning. The weather's only just got cold, and I tend to leave my window open all the time in the salon to air it out a bit, but I'd forgotten to shut my window and put the heating on, so when I started it was really cold, and so the acrylic was taking forever to set, and it was just a little bit runnier than usual, so that is why my consistency's a little bit off. So I'm then just capping that nail in crystal glass. Always be careful when you're sculpting and capping and everything, so normally I would let the glitter set a little bit, but now because I'm sculpting a new set, I'm going to pinch these nails, so I need to cap them so they're all setting at the same time. So just be careful as you're capping, just to be nice and gentle. You don't want to like nudge that glitter out of the way once you've placed it in. I will put a little disclaimer out here now. Obviously when I film these videos, they're filmed full screen, so when I edit it into the split screen, it then you have to kind of like move the video, and you can only move the video once, so every now and then if I do go a little out of shot, I'm really sorry, but I had to kind of go with where the video was for the best angle throughout. So I'm then moving on to the next now, and then I'm creating that nice thin clear base. Managed to get a little bit out of sync here, but we're still working on the same nails. That's because I'd paused the videos to go and put the heating on. So start with a thin clear base. I'm then going to come in with CJP Magenta, place that at the tip, just got to tighten that form up a little bit, and then blend it up. So I'm nudging it up, and then blending up. Creating that nice pink tip, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a small bead of clear acrylic, dab it in that glitter, and I'm going to place that near the cuticle area and then blend that down. So kind of pushing it where I want it, and then gently patting it down the nail, making sure I've got a nice coverage up by the cuticle area. And then I'm going to cap that entire nail in crystal glass. First bead I got, I wasn't quite happy with the consistency, it didn't feel quite right, that's why I got rid of it. And it was a little too small, so I got a slightly bigger bead, made it a little drier, and then I was happy with that. And this, from the side angle, it's quite good because then you can see when I'm doing my cuticle area, my brush is always between the acrylic and the cuticle area. So even when you're like kind of nudging that acrylic back, you're always making sure that your brush is like a barrier between the acrylic and your client's skin. As usual, making sure it all goes nice and matte so that you know that all that glitter is encapsulated. Give the pinching tool a little try at this point. But you know, my room was far too cold. That acrylic was nowhere near ready to pinch, and I'd have smooshed it out of shape if I'd tried. And once again, create that nice base. Create that tip. As you can see, I don't do the tips perfectly. It's just as kind of a rough guide, and it means that there's a thin, clear base to kind of work on. I'm never really worried about the perfect shape when I'm doing these little tips. And then I'm coming in with CJP and more. I've got a decent sized bead and taken a bit of the liquid out of the back because I want a relatively even coverage of this. So I'm going to add a bit of glitter to this as well, but I'm just wanting to create a pink base. And then I'm just using my wet brush to pick up that glitter and just dab it into that wet acrylic. And then when I'm happy with that, I'm going to cap that nail in crystal glass again. So again, you can see, always keeping my brush between that bead of acrylic and my client's cuticle area. So pinching that pinky now. Finger here again with that thin clear base to create a tip. And then putting thin clear base on the rest of the nail. It's also good to see this from the side because you get an idea of how thin. I keep that base, and then a bead of clear acrylic into the glitter, placing it onto the nail, and then just pushing and nudging it around with the tip of my brush. Don't be afraid to do it in a couple of different beads to get that coverage you want. And then always patting with the body of your brush just to keep that glitter nice and thin. Capping that entire nail in crystal glass. And again, making sure you're nice and gentle
keeping your brush between your acrylic and your cuticle area, but I'm very, as you can see, very gently tap, pulling it down because I don't want to drag all of that glitter off. So I want to be nice and careful. And if you were to drain your capping bead of too much liquid, it would definitely drag a lot of that glitter down. So always make sure you've got just the right ratio, and then gently pat, tap, and pull that down. Now I haven't shown the thumb because the thumb is exactly the same as the ring finger, and also the angles would be entirely out with the side by side and everything. So after I've filed them all in, I'm then going to top coat them, and then on the kind of speckled nail I'm going to do some 3D roses. So you've seen me do these so many times. Again, it was still really cold in my salon at this point, so I'm not 100% happy with how these roses turned out. Could have been a lot better, but they're alright, they're okay, they'll do. At a 45-degree angle, just gently patting and tapping that out. Just letting that bead mattify, kind of set a little bit before I start moulding it. You just want to keep moving around, adding beads and like overlapping the petals. This flower's a little more central than I'd have liked it. I should have kept it more to the side of the nail. Damn it. If you're like me, you will find fault in every single set of nails you do. Because it's quite cold and the acrylic was taking a while to set, I was able to work a couple of beads, so I was almost finished on the petals, so I started adding the acrylic for the leaves as well. So just adding like a central line very gently. And just adding a bit of shape and texture to the leaves. A bit more shape there in the petals so it's not a perfect round. And then popping that central bead in the middle. And then placing a second leaf leaf on there too. So like I often do, create a little donut and then kind of slice a line in it so that you can create that swirl in the middle of your rose. And then I'm just going to let that set for a few minutes, and then when it's all set and done, so I've done the other nail, and then I'm going to pop a little bit of cuticle oil and pop that in. And there you have them, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. Any questions, comments or requests, just pop them all below. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.